This is an original adaptation from the poem by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, Ruslan and Ludmilla. I give tribute to Pushkin, and I give tribute to Glinka for his opera, Ruslan and Ludmilla. So, here we go. In a kingdom far away, in a time so long ago, by a river wide and deep, stood a castle tall and strong. In that castle tall and strong, by the river wide and deep, in a room all candlelit, sat a man so deep in thought. Ruslan was that man's name, bright fair face and strong sword arm. Ruslan a message had received from the Tsar, one Ivanovich. Ludmilla, my daughter, your bride-to-be, has been stolen away. For we had gone into the church to hear the great sermon. We had gone into the church, but before the priest could raise his hand to give the benediction, the smoke began to appear. Upon the floor it did rise. A stench was taken from its core and burned upon our eyes. Men screamed and women fainted, but as statues still we stood. We waited to find out what this was. We waited as a statue. From out this smoke a voice did come that scratched upon our ears. A hand, a claw came out and said, she is mine, not yours. He pulled her in and it disappeared. Ludmilla was taken away. For we have been told Koschai the Deathless has stolen her that day. My son, my son, my son to be, please bring her back to home. You may have whatever it is you wish, jewels and crown, my throne. Ruslan sat in darkness and still. He thought all night, considered still. And when the sun had risen upon the horizon and dawn, Ruslan called for his horse, his shield, his helmet, and the sword given to him. Off he set from out that castle to find and bring her home. Many a day did he ride across frozen fields and swampy bog. Many a day did he ride to get her back, for it was his. Upon a dusty road he went. The sun was very high. Upon that dusty road he went, and then he spotted with his eye a figure coming towards him, hobbling and bent in two. He stopped his horse and waited to see what this one would do. And towards him came an old woman, all wrinkled and bent down, and said, Grandmother, who are you? Tell me why you look upon the ground. She looked up at him and said, Sir Knight, do you not know me? Naina is my name. But I was stolen away on my wedding night. He did remember her, he did. Her face was wrinkled and drawn. Off from his horse did he get, and he held her in his arms and said, what happened to you, Naina dear? What happened? Why are you so old? And then she began to tell him a story that she was told. She had been taken from her husband by Koschai the Deathless man. And on that night, he took her youth. He took her beauty and her maidenhead. And she was shriveled and she was drowned. Her magic was taken away. He tossed her out as a well-gnawed bone and sent her on her way. Sir Knight, Sir Knight, I know your face, but I cannot remember. But you must realize it's been so long for me. You go to seek Koschai, the deathless, the evil one. But here, what I have to tell you first, give me all your ear. And she told him that beyond the road, beyond the mountain there, Gorsinich, the three-headed serpent, sat, spouting fire and poisonous breath. You must take his heads and put them in a sack to carry with you. And when you get to Koschai's palace, throw them as you will. Throw them against the magic wall, and it will break, and you will be in. Now kiss me upon my brow, for my life is at an end. And so he took her in his arms and held her close to him and kissed her upon the brow into dust. She did turn. Back upon his horse he went, and straight forward down that road to meet the three-headed serpent Gorsinich and go to the abode. And above in that mountain did they rise, and there it sat, its spouting eyes and blazing breath and poisonous spittle falling down. Off of the horse did he get. He pulled his sword and great shield, and went and forth, and there was battle. Oh, there was battle, for he would not yield once, nor twice, nor thrice he did. And 1, 2, 3, he got the heads and put them in the pouch and tied it with a knot. He got back onto his horse, and he went forward to his fate. They went forward straight upon that road and came to that place where it began. The darkness, the grayness, no wind and no bird. And then he rode right in. He went into and he found the castle of Koschai the Deathless, with no breathless. And there in front was a magic wall, cerulean blue, vermilion red. But Ruslan had the serpent's heads. Once and twice and thrice he threw it up against the wall. It shattered into 1,000 bits. And then he stepped right in. He went into the castle and looked and called for Ludmilla True. She was hidden in a room, for she knew what to do. Ludmilla was no demoiselle, no princess waiting for fairy night. Ludmilla had magic she had learned at her nurse's knee. She clawed, she scratched, she pushed him back. And Koschai said unto thee, upon the 3rd day I will come and take your maidenhead, and then your magic will be mine, and you might as well be dead. He went and found the room that was locked, and with his sword he crushed the lock and opened it up and grabbed her true. Down the stairs they ran, and to the horse that was waiting for him and her. Off they rode as fast as they could upon that dusty road. From behind a scream did appear, and Koschai was flying behind on blackened clouds. He came behind them. You shall not have her, you shall not. You shall not have her, and you will do as we will have truly fought. Ruslan, Ludmilla, got off the horse. Ruslan, he drew his sword. He went to Koschai the Deathless and said, let us begin, my lord. Up into the sky they rose, through great clouds all thunderful. The wind had howled, the thunder flashed, the swords went back, the battle ensued. And back and forth they went around the howling of the wind. And on the ground Ludmilla went and grabbed as what she could. She gathered wood, she gathered trash, and together she built a fire. And using magic learned at her nurse's knee, green flames began to spire. There was no smoke, for magic it was. She knew what to do. While up into the sky the battle it did ensue, Ruslan grabbed Koschei's beard and hewed it off his face and Lou, and down he threw it. She caught it true and threw it on the fire, and down the bodies fell. They fell upon the ground. Ludmilla ran over. She saw her lover, Ruslan, the great warrior man, covered with wounds and blood and gore. She knelt and held his hand. He whispered to her, "Take my knife and cut the face off of his skull." She grabbed the knife, and over she went, sitting on his chest. She hacked and sliced and sawed the flesh up off his own skull. With bloodied hand and dripping blade, she went over to the fire and threw it down. And I will tell you what will now transpire. The screams that were held, the boulders split, the trees fell from their roots. Koschei to ashes did he turn, and was blown away. Ludmilla took that bloodied knife. She wiped it on her dress. She took that bloodied hand and wiped it on her dress. Over to Ruslan she went. She knelt upon the ground, and with tears she washed his wounds, and with strips, if they were tightly bound, she helped him rise. He leaned on her, strong woman that she is, and to the horse she did take him, and on the saddle she did place him, and tied him safely still. She took the reins within her hand and slowly led them home. In a kingdom far away, in a time so long ago, by a river wide and deep stood a castle, tall and strong. In that castle, tall and strong, in a room all candlelit, did Ludmilla wed her Ruslan.